Welcome back to Halloween Treats. Let me ask you, have you ever done something you're not proud of? Ticked off the wrong person? Have you ever felt like you've been cursed? Well, then maybe you can relate to the hero of 2009's Drag Me to Hell. This spooky little yarn was birthed from the mind of Evil Dead head honcho Sam Rami, and it marked the director's triumphant return to the horror genre post the Spider-Man trilogy. And what type of horror movie did Rami decide to make to mark this special occasion? Well, he dusted off an older-than-dirt story, The Gypsy Curse. You see, when loan officer Christine Brown refuses to help an old Romany woman, she's cursed. Every day she will be tortured with hellish visions and awful torture before the spirit of the Lamia, or Black Goat, quite literally drags her soul to hell. The movie was not very well received when it first came out, and it's still not exactly thought of one of the director's finest works. That being said, I think it gets way more right than anyone ever thinks to give it credit for. First and foremost, the sound design in this movie is top-notch. No one ever appreciates good sound design in a horror movie until it's not there. Everything builds and builds. The dread becomes palpable, and then all of a sudden, when you're not expecting it, all of them know, boom! It's not a jump scare because they earn it every time they do it. The other thing that I think threw people for a loop is just how funny this movie is. Yes, I know it's a strange concept for a funny movie to also be scary, but then again, hey, look who we're dealing with here, the man who helped give the world such classic lines as "This is my boomstick." Drag Me to Hell might also be one of the grossest horror movies of its kind. Blood, bile, spit, worms, everything that's dirty or grimy gets thrown at Christine throughout the film. Definitely a nightmare for neat freaks, and definitely not the kind of movie you want to watch while eating. And really, that's another point in the movie's favor. Actor Alison Lohman did all her own stunts, you see, for the film, and she was put through the ringer every single time. All the stuff that you see happen to her actually happened. Popular comedy website Cracked also had a really interesting article they ran a few years back about how when you look closer, the subtext of Drag Me to Hell is actually about a woman coming to terms with her eating disorder. At first I thought it was crazy, but honestly it makes a lot of sense. Kristen drinks throughout the movie while other people are eating. Again, I mentioned the whole vomit theme and vomit imagery from before. People constantly talk about how she used to be a lot fatter. She's always denying food throughout the movie, and when the ghost attacks her, more often than not, it's stuff going in and out of her throat. And at the end of the day, I think that's what Drag Me to Hell does better than just about any other horror movie. Build sympathy for the protagonist. All throughout the film, we see our heroine get abused, talked down to, talked over, and the one time she actually tries to make her life better, tries to make that little grab for personal glory, she ends up getting cursed for it. You want to see Christine succeed, which is much more than I could say for any of those Camp Crystal Lake kids who are constantly getting cut up. There were plans whirling around a bit for a sequel, but they never came to be, which is unfortunate because Justin Long actually had a pretty decent arc in this movie as a cynical boyfriend who by the end of the movie is given all the reason in the world to believe in the paranormal. So, this Halloween, if you've never seen it before, or if you think you might want to give it a second chance, maybe you need to see Drag Me to Hell.